Hello, everybody. Welcome to the Straight Talk for the Soul Global Masterclass Series. It is so amazing to be alive in this moment with all of you. I am thrilled to be here. The energy is incredible again today. It's a blessing to connect with all of you as I welcome back spiritual guide, channel for the Lemurians, and of course, precious soul sister of mine, Lorie Ladd is back. We are back for take two. She's going to be joining me in just a minute. Before that, as always, I want to extend a bright and a beautiful good morning, good afternoon, and good evening to all of you tuning in from all corners of the globe. We have a jam-packed call today, and I am not surprised because the love is flowing. I'm Cari Murphy, the creator and the host of this global webinar series and community, and as I mentioned yesterday, but you guys didn't get to hear because there was no recording, I want to remind you that you have an open invitation to join our private subscriber Facebook community. Just type in Straight Talk for the Soul private subscriber group on Facebook and ask to join, and we will get you approved as quickly as possible because community is so important, and so many of you are connecting with one another, and it's just a great space to feel the love and stay connected between our shows. Today, wow, I am excited. We have a lot of love in store for you today. The purpose we're feeling is to have all of us feel this Lemurian heart-centered love. Because if you feel a calling to learn more about the ancient civilization of Lemuria, or if you're drawn to learn about the city within Mount Shasta called Telos, where the Lemurians now reside, or if you're ready for a conscious awakening to your Lemurian or star connection and heritage, or you're ready to receive the codes and activations from your star family, that's what you're in for today. Today can be a life changer for many of you. Because, as I mentioned yesterday when we tried to do this call, and the energies were so just powerful that we could not maintain the connection. So that's why we're doing this again. And I know it's a game changer for a lot of you, and it's no accident that you are here. Today, our intention is to amplify and activate your ascension with a journey inside Telos, with an awareness of and an understanding of what it is, where it is, who resides there, what this has to do with you. We're going to explore the Lemurian and star energies that are flooding in and dive deep into the many gifts that Telos has to share with us, and talk about how it can assist you in your ascension. We're going to also talk about just the benefits of a journey inside Telos, which beautiful Lorie provides for people from all over the world. And these are the kind of journeys that you can take with her by phone. It's not in person, so we got a lot of questions about that. So you can reignite with your Lemurian family, your star families, receive the activations that you need for your ascension, accelerate your light body, clear old energy blocks, bring clarity and alignment to your life. And we're going to also talk about how perhaps you're going to learn to realize and remember your life on Lemuria, or why you chose to come back and why you're now. So allow me to tell you about my beautiful soul sister, my co-creative partner today, and then we are going to get started. Lorie is an ascension guide. She's a high council channel for the multidimensional beings inside Telos, the Lemurian city of light within Mount Shasta. Her mission is to gracefully guide humanity into the fifth dimension. Through her direct guidance from her higher self, along with her channeled communication with the beings inside Telos, Lorie guides people through the ascension, activating their light bodies, healing old patterns and belief systems, and awakening the divinity within. She offers teachings on ascension, multidimensional living, and transitioning into the fifth dimension. Lorie knew at the age of 13 that she was here to assist humanity through the ascension, but it wasn't until 1992, while on a retreat in Mount Shasta, that she was introduced to Telos, and she met Adama, High Priest of Telos, who I can feel with us today. It was during this retreat that she was shown her role in the ascension. She was here to introduce Telos to humanity and bring humanity into Telos, essentially bridging these two realities. Today, Lorie dedicates her life to assisting humanity in this huge planetary shift. She's here to remind us that the ascension can be simple and joyful that we are all moving through it, and the beings inside Telos are here to guide us step by step. Lorie is honored to be walking side by side with all of you, and she's humbled to be able to introduce Telos to the world. It is such a complete joy to have Lorie back, and I ask all of you to assist me in extending waves and waves of love and appreciation to Lorie as I welcome her back to the show. Lorie, welcome back. We're going to do this today, right?
Yay! Oh my goodness, yes, it is so amazing. It feels so good to be back right now. There is so much love that is streaming into this call right now from the Lemurians, the Atlanteans, all your star families. Everybody is surrounding us in this call. It's unbelievable right now. I'm getting emotional just feeling what's coming in right now. So I'm really excited to just let everybody feel who we really are, and just connect to that for the next however long we're going to be on this call, to just allow everybody to relax into this. Yeah.
I feel it too.
It's
awesome. And we're almost to our limit this is a full call, Lorie. I think that, as I mentioned yesterday, people are drawn to this, and there's no mistake. And as we were talking about before we started, what the Lemurians really want us to feel is this heart-centered love. And it is also the Christ consciousness, right? It's igniting that in our hearts, and it's already there. It's kind of just activating and igniting it. Wow, I feel that we're a little more grounded today, so we're gonna keep this call going. If you guys were with us yesterday for the time that we were together, we could not stop laughing. I mean, it was like the energies were just crazy, and we are still filled with joy today. I think we're just a little bit more. We brought in a lot of divine support today, but we refined it a little bit, right, Lorie?
Yes, we made some boundaries. We held up some very firm boundaries with these beings. We said, listen, we want all this activation, but can you make sure that the electrical circuits can work, please? Thank you.
Yes, please. Exactly.
Wow. We're allowed to make those boundaries. We're allowed to make those demands on these beings, and they will gladly abide by that.
They are so excited
they want it to work.
Be here.
Yes.
There's a lot of star energy here today. This is not just Lemurian energy. We've got a lot of. What are you feeling in terms of?
What I'm feeling is that there's a lot. So right before the call, I was just really centering and grounding myself. And what I kept hearing from the Lemurians specifically was that every single person on this call, it doesn't matter who you are, what you do, what age you are, any of that your star family is around you right now, and that you're a Lemurian, and that the Lemurians are around you. And it doesn't mean that you necessarily have a connection to a Lemurian lifetime. Most of you probably do. But this call is all about feeling your home, feeling your family around you. And that is what they want in this call, is for us to just feel, to know that we are supported, to know that we're not alone anymore, to know that it doesn't matter what education you have, whether you're on a spiritual path or not, whether you know what ascension is or not, whether you even know what Telos is or not. None of that matters. That's all human sort of stuff, right? What matters is feeling, is just connecting for the next however long that we're here, just connecting to this remembrance, this knowingness, these beings that are all around you right now, and just wanting you to feel this tremendous amount of your love, like joy, love, and honoring. Just honoring you where you are on your path, honoring you for being here, honoring you for taking on this lifetime and all the other lifetimes to get here right now. Just feeling that for a moment, feeling that you are honored.
Yes.
That it was courageous for you to get here. It took courage to say, yes, I'll come back. I'll come back again. I'll come back again. I'll
and
be
again
here.
and again and again and again.
And again and again and again, right? Over and over, so that you can be here right now. And so just really connecting to that to that energy and to that knowingness that we all have within us.
It is
and you
a
were
homecoming.
talking, Cari, about that.
Yes.
Yeah, and that
It's
Christ light within our heart, right? That little piece of that the love that is in our heart center is being activated right now as I speak and as you're listening.
Yes. And I encourage everyone to intend for that activation of that Christ consciousness, that Christ light in your heart. Intend as we're talking today and during this time that is activated within you to the extent that you are ready for. And I love that you mentioned home and homecoming, because that is the greatest gift that any of us can feel, because we're all here in this community because we want a community that feels like home. And the greatest gift of my experience with you, Lorie, and doing a personal journey into Telos was that homecoming. I mean, for those of you, I think I mentioned it yesterday, but then you couldn't hear me, and I think I talked about it for 15 minutes. and anyway, it was awesome.
Nobody was listening.
I know. I was like, anyway. I have to say that it was such a profound experience, and I have had memories and all of this of my connection to my Lemurian priestess sisters and Lemuria, but having a very conscious journey with Lorie and doing that, I mean, I literally had like tears just streaming down my face, and pretty much the whole time, because I was conscious and aware, and Lorie was guiding and sort of narrating the experience in such a way that I was able to feel that homecoming probably more strongly than I have in a long time, because I do it in dream state and all of that. But Lorie, I have to thank you for being that tremendous guide. It was like nothing I've ever experienced, really. That's why I had to have you back, because more people need to experience this, to remember what it's like to feel supported and at home.
You know what it is? It's the feeling. You connect to that feeling, and that once you have that connection to that feeling, it all kind of comes back. You just start. It's just like the remembrance just like activates your cells. You're just. And then you come out of it and you're like, oh my gosh,
you bring it with you in a whole new way. I feel like I've gotten it for many years, but this was a different experience because it was very tangible. It was very clear. It was very real, and it was incredibly powerful. And let's talk about that, because when we were talking between the last time you were here and, one of the reasons we wanted to have you come back was because the changes, and I think you started to talk about this yesterday when we were both talking, and then my mic went out. But for those who weren't here, and maybe for those who were, talk about some of the experiences and the journeys that you're taking people in and how they've changed just in the last couple of months.
Yeah, that's a lot of what I wanted to talk about yesterday, and I'm glad we're here today to do it, because because this frequency is really intensifying on the planet, the journeys are intensifying. And so what is happening is it's no longer about sort of engaging and meeting just the Lemurian or Atlanteans, right? One of those lifetimes that you've had back there. That's a beautiful part of the process. It feels amazing and so precious to be in their energy. But they're taking another level up. So what they're doing is they're bringing people straight to their star families and giving them some very, very powerful activations that literally, whether we understand it or not, which a lot of times we don't, it is physically changing the structure within your body, the cellular structure and DNA structure, so that we have nothing, we don't need to do anything whatsoever. We don't even need to understand or have words for it. We just have to trust that it happened, that it's for your highest and best good, and that when you go back out into the third dimensional reality, that you have been shifted in a very significant way. And it kind of starts to just show up for people in many different miraculous ways. But it's like, just like there's not a lot of time anymore for us to kind of waste as we're moving through our process and our path here, it's the same with Telos. It's like they don't want to wait any longer. It's like, okay, we've got them in here. Thank God it took Lord knows how many lifetimes, right? They're here now. We got them, and we're not going to mess around. And so, and they're clearing, oh my goodness, they are clearing really old, stuck, Adama always likes to call it muck, but it's basically just muck. Energy. It's just this energy that is sort of just still on us. And the beautiful thing about Telos is that it's instantaneous. It just is gone. There aren't these rules like we have here, right? Where, oh, you've got to understand it, or you've got to go to a specific healer to get it, to remove it, and you've got to go back and figure it out. And whatever
it's not a process. It's an experience.
No.
It's an experience.
Yeah, and it's just and they are just like, let us do this, let us take it, and just as long, I mean, we have free will, right? So we very much can go back into our third dimensional realities and sort of slowly pull those things back in, those belief systems, those stories.
Right, right.
But if you have the intention of it being gone, if you trust that what happened really did happen and you're letting it be, it will not come back. And so,
and we can hold that light, and we can with intention, and by asking for, I mean, they're continually there for us, whether you end up doing a journey with Lorie or not. Your star families, your guides, your teams of light are there for you. You just have to ask for their support. And, you know, if you do a journey with Lorie, you know, they will reactivate you, you know, because coming back into 3D living or 5D living or whatever it is that you're living here on this planet at this time, it can be quite distracting. And but if you ask them to continue to activate you and keep you ignited, they will do so. They're right there. You don't have to see them. And Lorie, what you mentioned was really important. What they say is you don't have to figure it out. You don't have to understand it. Once you are activated to whatever degree you are intended to be activated by your star families, you don't have to know what to go do. Like, there's not a list of, okay, now you need to do A, B, C, D, E. You're going to be guided naturally and organically to the unfolding of your mission. It's not, you know, and I feel like that is such a relief for people, because, like, what do I do? I don't know what to do. I don't know what to do. And what you stress, which is so important, is you don't have to. Just be in this energy and trust it. Trust is a big part of this.
I know the Lemurians, they're laughing at us. They love us so much because they're watching us go through this. And you know, we're so regimented. We're so in our mind, and you know, we have to-do lists and tasks, and we rate how well we're doing things, and you know, it doesn't need to be that way, right? I mean, it's literally, and a lot of people are wanting to know what their purpose is. Why are they here, right? So we all came down for a reason, for a very specific reason. Some of us are just here to hold this frequency. And that's difficult enough. And sometimes that's even more difficult than actually going out and serving humanity with actual other gifts or whatever. But yeah, what their messages, the Lemurian messages, the star family messages, these beautiful beings, is it all will unfold for you. There's absolutely nothing you need to do but continue to live your life. As long as you take one step in front of the other, as long as you intend to move forward, as long as you are open, as long as you are surrendering and trusting and just allowing everything to move through you, whether it's anger or frustration or whatever these things are, as long as you keep going they are going to unfold everything for you. That is your gift. That is your right. That is you came down here. You are here right now. You're listening to this call. You think they want it to be difficult? You think they want you to struggle? You think they want it to be challenging for you? That's our beliefs. That's the paradigm we live in. That's not truth. That's not reality. That's not real. That's just what we've been taught for thousands and thousands of years, that we have to really struggle, right, to get there. And they're saying, oh, no, beloveds, it can be very easy, right? You just surrender and trust. And
surrender is a
let
big part of it. And you know what? When you actually do, it's so much easier. It's so much easier.
Oh my
gosh.
But it's so
the
hard to surrender.
It is. But when you try it and it feels so good because you're like, I don't have to try anymore. I'll be guided. I'll know what to do. But that is very challenging. Lorie, on the webcast Q&A, thankfully, I mean, our lines are full and the webcast is quite full too, but we're getting a lot of comments about people unable to access, they're trying to get in on the phone lines and they can't. So there's still a lot of high frequency energy happening here. So we're going to ask our teams of light out there to just ground this energy so that everyone can remain on the phone and the webcast because it's still high, and extend lots of gratitude to all of these beings who are here. We are so grateful for you, and let's keep us grounded.
Let everybody be on this.
Yes.
Let everybody be part of this. Please let them come in.
And just feel this energy. There is a container that we are all in right now that is that I feel the Lemurians are just like pouring in this liquid light and love that they are, that we are intended to feel.
And here's the thing. They have been waiting. They've been waiting in our timeline thousands of years. In their timeline, it's probably just a blink of an eye. But in our timeline, they've been waiting a very long time for moments like this, for moments where normal Joe Schmoes that are just living their lives, that are on the Cari Murphy show, can remember themselves, can remember the Lemurians, can remember who they are, why they're here, can tap into that love again. It's like this is what they've been waiting for. This is why they went into Telos, is for moments like this. I mean, they're just so...
when we were ready.
Yes.
We're
when
ready.
We
That's
were
why
ready.
Everyone's here. Everyone's here because
right.
we're ready
Everybody
to hear
wants to feel it. Yeah. And just really, a lot of people ask me, well, how do I know that my star system, my star families are around me? How do I know Lemurians are around me or the Atlanteans or whoever, And it takes practice. It's we are coming into our fifth dimensional frequency and beingness, which means that we begin to activate all of our other sixth senses, right? And so part of that is learning how to feel into energy and trusting what you're feeling. So what happens is as we begin to sort of feel into, wow, I kind of feel like there might be some sort of energy behind my right shoulder. Okay, just feel into that. Trust into that. What does it feel like? Well, it kind of feels warm. It kind of feels like, oh, I'm kind of feeling like some joy, so just literally starting to practice, starting to test out what it feels like, because we're in a society where we don't have patience, right? We just want something to happen and be right here and now and be done, and that's not how it works. We have to, for many of us, we have to learn how to
cultivate trust. Cultivate a trust in ourselves and our guidance, because it's easy to doubt what we're seeing, feeling, and receiving. Like, no, that didn't happen. That wasn't that. Yeah, it was. And give me some more. I trust it. Right. And then you cultivate it, and then they will reveal themselves more and more. And so it's like intending for this doubt-free living, which can take some practice, but the rewards are pretty phenomenal.
They are very phenomenal. They're so amazing.
Yeah.
As soon as we, let go, as soon as we know that we are completely and utterly protected and taken care of, the miracles happen.
Yes, we're getting a lot of questions about, and I had mentioned we had some already before the call even started, about Lemurian crystals. For those of you who followed me in this show, you know I love my crystals and I take pictures of them often and post them and things, but people are asking about the Lemurian crystals. Yes, if you are guided, get them, because Lorie, wouldn't you say that they are activators and they will activate you. Plus they're so beautiful. I mean, they're incredibly beautiful. So if you're drawn to them, what can you say to that about these crystals?
You know, they've been placed all around our planet. They're miraculous the way they just have shown up in the last 50, 60 years. They've been placed here by the Lemurians for this moment, for this time, for our awakening, so that as we begin to hold them and have them in our space, they hold very ancient codes, very ancient information. And so what happens on a very subtle level is that we begin to activate that fifth dimensional part of us that was living in Lemuria, right? And even if you weren't living on Lemuria, because these crystals hold that frequency, right? They hold that fifth dimensional frequency. They hold that Lemurian heart-centered consciousness. But just by you having it in your energy field, in your space, that begins to be activated within your cellular structure. They're also very powerful in terms of intention setting.
Absolutely.
I mean, they listen, they hear. They're like, you know,
they're
what
alive.
do you want? They are alive. Well, you know that. They're very much alive. Yeah. They are alive, and they're and the Lemurians, I mean, people put them on their bodies when they sleep, underneath their heads when they sleep. They take them with them when they go places. They gift them a lot to people, you know, like something's telling me I need to give this Lemurian to you. The other really sad thing is the largest mine in Brazil that had all these Lemurians collapsed last year. And so there aren't, you know, for whatever reason, there's not a surplus of them right now. And so
if you're guided to them, you will find them. And and Lorie, remember I told you I'm drawn to get, I have a collection of crystals, but lately I was led to buy some new Lemurian ones, and this is a while back, and two of them, I told Lorie, you guys, showed up yesterday right before our call. and I put them right next to the computer, and that may have been one of the reasons that I could not stay connected. But they're very powerful. I have them around. It doesn't matter. A little bit further from the computer today because, and I did take them out and activated and cleared them this morning along with another new one. But they're very powerful. So if you are drawn to them, they will find you. You will find them. But they're incredible activators of memory, of recollection, of your gifts and abilities in these timelines. And Lorie, we mentioned something yesterday for those of us who weren't with us in the beginning when we actually were connected and live. We talked about how this isn't just for the Lemurians, and I know what it was. It was some people were asking, they felt like they were either had to be either one or the other, Lemurian or Atlantean, and that's not the case. And as I mentioned yesterday, I recall I've been in both, and I feel a lot of us have. So speak to that for a second, because I think there's a little bit of confusion with that.
Yeah. So because of the feminine energy that's coming in right now, right? The feminine awakening, this that we've been sort of living in that masculine energy for so long. The feminine energy is sort of really starting to come into the planet and onto the planet, and so what that is doing is that's waking up everybody's Lemurian consciousness, right? That heart-centered consciousness. And so many of us are drawn to that Lemurian lifetime, that Lemurian continent, that sort of frequency we're being really drawn to, because that's what we're waking back up to. That's what we're shifting back into. But many, 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 many of us have lived on both continents for thousands of years, both Atlantis and Lemuria. But because Atlantis was more of a masculine energy, Lemuria was more of a feminine energy, and we're waking up to that feminine consciousness more, that heart-centered consciousness. That's sort of, a lot of us are really being drawn to that. But the Atlanteans were just as beautiful, just as powerful, just as connected. They were on the same frequency as the Lemurians. The only difference was that they just were in a more, I don't like masculine, feminine, only because we associate it with like a sex, you know, and it's not at all. It's just an energy.
It's an energy.
But yeah, it's just more in the more mind, like, you know, like concepts and ideas and building and making and forming and those kind of things, very tangible. Whereas the feminine energy is much more soft and malleable and you know, there's no answers. You're just trusting and that kind of sort of space, right? But many of us have lived on both because Telos started out as a Lemurian city and began with the Lemurians. That's sort of the frequency that people associate with Telos, but there's thousands of multidimensional beings, including the Atlanteans inside there,
that are
especially
in there,
as we. Yeah, they're all in there. They're all waiting. They use Telos as a portal, right? A point on the planet where they can begin to interact with us, and the star beings. I mean, that's why Mount Shasta, when people come up here, they're like, oh my God, I see so many craft and ships, you know, it's because, well, it's a portal that they're coming in, you know, and a big reason why they're coming in is to engage with us. This
for those who are ready. Yes.
Yeah, it's an opportunity for us to begin to engage with who we've always been, and these beings that have been supporting us for so long. And I mean, you had the experience with their star beings. They're not these like it's not like you're engaging with you know, funky looking.
Beings. No, they're light beings. They're beings of light is what they are. And the way to access connection with them is an open heart. Because I'm feeling guided to really emphasize that, because they're there and waiting to connect. But an open heart is the doorway. And so as much as we can let go of the fears or the doubts, the closer we can get to them and to their support and their love and all of that. And as you were talking, when you were talking about the city of Telos, and if those of you who have done or will do a journey with Lorie, she takes you into the city. And by the way, I want to let you guys know it's not, you don't go to Mount Shasta physically and meet with Lorie. These are done by phone, or what do you use, Lorie? It's Zoom or something like that, right?
Yeah, Zoom.
Yeah, which
kind of
is
like Skype, but.
Yeah, it's like Skype. So you can call, it's a call with Lorie where she acts as a guide leading you etherically, and which means like through meditation into the city, and you relax and she guides you in there. But what's really neat is you're going to see or feel different things. It's going to be different for everybody, but if you guys have noticed some of the pictures that I have selected for this show in the promo materials or on the in the group page, these are the images that I've seen in my mind over the many years about Lemuria. You know, it's the and Atlantis too. It's the temples. It's the waterfalls. It's this idyllic just garden, you know, setting. It's all of that. So if you guys have, if that resonates with you, or if you look at these images and you're like, there's something about that it draws you in, that's what it is. It's a memory of this, all right? And what do you, Lorie, when people are going into the city with you, you know, because you guide them in and then you walk on the street with them, what are some of the common things that people share that you share with them that they're seeing, or what's happening?
Well, it's always interesting because depending upon who goes in, and what their higher self wants them to experience, that's what arises. So it's always different, although we do walk in the same spot. So there is always that, you are still walking, you enter Telos in the same sort of area. But in terms of like what shows up, I mean, there's always different sort of activation temples that will appear. There are all different types of like flying things that appear that I've never seen. Right. I'm like, I don't know what this is, but this is showing up for you.
But it's really cute.
And, yeah, but it's adorable. I mean, there's a lot of times where things will show up and I don't really know, because I'm trying to feel into the energy as well sometimes, and I don't necessarily know what it is because I've never seen it before, right? And so a lot of times the actual client will know exactly what it is because it's there for them. And so just all kinds of things, all kinds of beings show up. And, sometimes music will be playing for certain clients, certain tones and music will show up. We'll be guided to different parts of, sometimes we're guided to go to a waterfall. Sometimes we're guided to go to the ocean. Sometimes we're guided to go to a temple. Sometimes we're guided just to go to the park. It just really depends on, your higher self is in charge. So I don't do anything. I just am guided by your higher self.
You are such an amazing grounded guide, though. I have to tell you guys, if you have not experienced it, Lorie is describing what she is seeing happening in such a grounded, confident way, so that you feel so protected. So not that you need protection, but you just feel so comfortable. You feel so safe. You feel very clear about what's going on. It's the most beautiful experience. And Lorie, you are, it's clear that you were given this role for a very specific reason, because it's gifting people with the experience, but it's like you're narrating it for them. Like it's, Yeah. I mean, like it's, but there's so much going on, and you have to stay very grounded. Like, and I know sometimes you want to cry because it's like, oh my God, I can't believe this is like, this is so beautiful.
There's been so many times where I'm like, Lorie, hold it together. Do not start bawling right now in front of this client's journey. That's absurd. Keep it together.
Keep it together. Deep breath.
But there are so many journeys where like tears are just coming down my face because I feel what's happening. There's so much feeling that, and the interesting thing is, which is just so beautiful, and it's such a beautiful lesson for all of us as well outside on the third dimensional plane, is that it can be difficult to feel, even if it's beautiful feelings, right? Even if it's that reconnection and that bringing in our light can be scary. And as weird as that might sound for a lot of people, I've seen it many, many times. There is am I worthy of this? Can I really have this experience? Can I really feel this love? Can I really feel this light that I am? And so that's a huge part of the journey for a lot of people, is just reconnecting and bringing back. And when I say bringing in your light, it is the pure essence of who you are, your higher self and your I am presence merging into your physical body. And it's very real, it's very tangible, and it can be very it's
emotional.
Like, ooh.
It's emotional.
Yeah.
Too, in a good way. Mm-hmm. Well, I mean, I guess I would imagine, well, it's a very comforting thing. There is nothing scary about it. Like, speaking personally from my experience, I mean, it was the most beautiful thing ever. I mean, it's a homecoming. It's like, but if you open to it, like, it's just the most beautiful thing. And what you see, hear, feel, remember, taste, experience, touch, everything changes after a journey like this into Telos. It really does. Everything is heightened, and your mission, your purpose is clear and activated, and you gain this renewed sense of confidence about why you're here. And let's talk about that, Lorie, about how a lot of our soul family members are in Telos. So if we were in Lemuria, when it sank, many of us who were there chose to sink with the continent, and that's why we're here. And we ended up, coming back here again and again. And the rest of our Lemurian family members decided to stay. And that's why when you reunite with them, if this is the case for you, it is pretty emotional, because some of us very consciously chose to sink with that continent. And there are a lot of memories of that for a lot of us. I mean, I couldn't go in the ocean. I mean, even in this lifetime, it's still like, anyways, let's talk about, I could go off many tangents there, so I won't. Let's talk about why those of us who were Lemurian and sank chose to do that and come here.
Right. Well, the bigger question is, the even larger question is, why did we even come down to Lemuria, right?
Well, yes.
So,
yes.
So it's like there's two levels to it. It's like, okay, yes, that's what's so beautiful about this journey is you get to see both levels. Two levels, meaning we came from a star system to experience planet Earth. And whether you came down on a Lemuria first or Atlantis first or neither of them and just came down into the 7 continents that we have now after the 2 main ones sunk, you still chose to come down. That was the initial, okay, I'm going to go in, right? I'm going to go down. But then if you were living on Lemuria for however many lifetimes you lived on Lemuria, there was for thousands of us, it was a very conscious decision, which I wasn't aware of until I started doing these journeys, very conscious decision that you chose to sink. And so and I have learned that there have been groups that have gone down together. So there are family members here on the planet at this time that are with you, that sunk with you. A lot of them are children that are kind of in your family or maybe a parent or a grandparent, or it's sort of in that sort of realm a lot of times. But it was a very conscious decision. It was like you and your Lemurian family and brotherhood and sisterhood got together and you literally raised your hand and said, I'll do it. And what you agreed to do was, and by the way, many of you had the choice to go into Telos and hold that frequency inside Telos. But many of us said, you know what, I'm going to sink. I'm going to go with the rest of the civilization, and I'm going to sink, and I'm going to hold this frequency for however long it's going to take until we ascend. And it was a very, very, very emotional decision, and it was emotional just to sink. Within 24 hours, you have to understand, within 24 hours, the entire civilization sank. And so feeling into that sort of experience that so many of us went through, and then to know that you chose to do this and that you were holding this frequency for the entire continent, for the entire civilization, you were holding this sort of love and peace and understanding of why this was all happening. And that as we came back, reincarnated back onto the planet, the entire purpose was to be here right now in this moment so that as Earth ascended and humanity ascended, you as this 5th dimensional frequency that lived on Lemuria will be able to assist it on the actual physical plane and not inside Telos. And there's so many different types of light workers and volunteers. And there's a lot of individuals that are not light workers that came down just to experience planet Earth, and that are here to just experience this journey but don't necessarily have a role whatsoever. That's not anybody on this call because you wouldn't be called to do this. But, there are thousands and thousands, millions that are not participating in, but they will ascend, or if they choose not to, they will pass and move back to their star system or wherever they go next. There's just so much. There's so much out there that's happening. So it's it's layered. And that's what's so beautiful about this call. That's what's so beautiful about Telos. That's what's so beautiful about the awakening. That's what's so beautiful about all of it, is that we're remembering and we're grounding ourselves in it. We don't have to be these woo-woo spiritual, weirdos any longer that are kind of like, in outer space. It's a very grounded, very normal. It's like I just want it to be so normal for people. It's not. I want it to be as normal as like going to like an exercise class, or like showering, or brushing your teeth, or making dinner. Like connecting to this, to who you are, to your light, to your star family is normal, and it's going to become more and more normal.
So, we've got a lot of questions about that are kind of asking the same thing. Are we all from the stars? Do we all have a star family? What do you say to that?
So, yes and no. So yes, we all, most of us came from a star system. There are a group of volunteers that are here at this time that have only been on the planet for this lifetime. So they have not reincarnated over and over again. They've had one lifetime on planet Earth that came from Source. So they did not come from a star system. However, they did have lifetimes on star systems. So it's a little bit complicated, but most of us have come from a star system. Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. We all have. Yeah. So.
Yes.
Yeah.
Lorie.
Yeah.
I was going to say. No, I'll let you finish that, and then I'll tell you this.
Well, one of the beautiful gifts I was given one time when I did a QHHT, which one is the quantum healing hypnosis therapy. Have you ever had one of those?
No.
Dolores Cannon invented it.
Yes,
and then
yes. I had her on the show, on my radio show, twice before she passed away.
Oh my God, she's amazing.
She was amazing. Yeah, she is.
She's so amazing. So I had one of those, and that
I
kind
didn't
of
know
really
that's what it was
opened up.
called. Yeah.
Yeah. I had one of those journeys with not with her, but one of her practitioners, and it opened up an awareness of what's really going on in the universe. And what they showed me was this, that literally every single person on the planet, even the group of volunteers that came down just for this lifetime, we literally have this kind of light that is connecting us straight to our star family. So literally they showed me just like all of these lights that are connecting us straight to our star system. So literally we are connected to them.
And if we ask for it, it can really support us with healing. And, because we're getting a lot of questions about people really resonating with you describing the sinking of Lemuria, because there are a lot of people on this call who are like, oh my God, that was me. And like probably 10 people putting things in here like I'm crying as you said that, like now, like I remember that, or I have an inkling of a remembering of that. But then we're also getting questions about how do you deal with the pain and the grief, kind of about everything we've been through. And I will say, when I did this journey with Lorie and I met with my Lemurian family and the priestesses that I work with, it was in a different way. And they just want us to know how proud they are of us, that we have done this and that we have been so brave and so, what's the word, Lorie? Courageous. Yes. And they are just up there just like, you guys are so courageous and you're so brave and you've been through so much. And as like and I've been told that over the years, but it was something about in this journey with Lorie, and then like tears are just like streaming down my face. Yes, it's been hard. It's been so hard. Yes, I know. Yes, it has been. So believe me, I mean, I think all of us, and and we, you have those feelings like, I just want to go home. I just want to go home. This is too hard, And so I so feel what you're saying. Those of you who are writing and saying that. And Lorie, what do you say to that, to those whose hearts are hurt? They're hurting because of it's hard being here, and you're like, nobody gets me. Like, who are these? What is happening here, right?
Yeah, it is
What do you
hard.
say?
It's hard. And when people start to remember that, when they start to kind of reactivate that remembrance, that's the initial sort of feelings you're going to start to feel. And then my suggestion to you is to start calling them into you, to start calling them into your space. And all that means is, and they're with you right now. So those of you that are feeling that really heartache, that pain, that maybe even some anger, sadness, well, that's great. I'm so glad I remember I'm in a lot of pain. I don't want to be here kind of feeling. That's when I would, first of all, they're completely around you right now. And what they want you to understand is exactly what you were saying, Cari, is that we are honoring you. We are loving you. Go to that place of remembering why you chose to do this. You're not a victim, right? You're not a victim.
You chose it because you are that strong and because your mission is so big.
Yes. So it's like, okay, yes, you're allowed to have all those feelings because it's true. It's real. It's in your cellular structure. And you were so amazingly brave to say, yes, I'll go and do this. You raised your hand in front of all your Lemurian family members and said, I know I can do it, right? So getting to that space of remembering that, activating that remembrance as you continue to move forward. And so, yes, you can still feel that really painful kind of experience and that sadness and grief, and take it one level up and say, but I chose this. But I know that I can do this. I know that they are around me. And you can intend for them to enter into your space. You can ask them whether you know who they are or not. It doesn't matter. Just start with wherever you are, which is basically saying, hey, Lemurians, can you come down, right? Can you come into my space? And can you allow me to feel you? And just to start exploring that. To start
it's a
exploring.
Feeling. It's a feeling.
And and you have to invite them into your space. I mean, they're in your space right now. Sorry, you didn't invite them, but they're in your space right now. They're just all around everybody. But when you are in your normal everyday life, taking a shower, driving in your car, doing the dishes, you can just literally in your mind's eye or out loud ask for them to come in and be. And this is for any being. This is not just Lemurians. This is ascended masters. This is angels. This is your star family.
Your guides, everything.
Your guides.
And all of this comes from source, right? Because we're getting some questions about that. Like the star systems are from source. We're all from source. We're all from God, whatever word you want to use. Because I think some people, especially if they've been ingrained with some religious upbringing, some of that, there may be a little confusion as to whether a star system is the same thing as source or God.
Yeah, so like when you were getting that really powerful activation and when you were in Telos, right? Mm-hmm. There was this light that was coming straight into your crown, and it wasn't coming from your star system. It was from it's like, the word I keep getting a lot is like this universal consciousness. It's the light that we all are. Some people call it God. Some people call it Sophia. Some people call it Source. But it's a universal consciousness. No, it's this light that is all of us, and it's infused in every single star system. It's infused in every single star being. It's infused in every single living thing that is on the planet. Every animal, every insect, every plant, every weed, anything. It has this light in it as well. So it's this. It's the universal consciousness of everything, and it's held. That light is held within our heart. That's the Christ consciousness, and so. When we were expanded beings, when we lived on Lemuria and Atlantis, and we were multidimensional, which is what we're moving into, that light, that connection to Source, that Christ light within the heart, was about, I don't know, maybe 7 feet it was all over our entire physical body, right? It expanded out beyond our physical body and encompassed us. So we knew exactly who we were. We were never disconnected. And that's why we were connected to our star family, because we were connected to Source. We were just completely connected to all of it. We understood everything. When we fell from grace, when we went back and went into that lower frequency, that lower dimension, and started playing around with duality, that light shrunk to around 1/8 of an inch. So it shrunk really, really low. So if you can imagine how we've lived so disconnected for so long, you can just imagine that tiny little light that's slowly going to begin to be activated again. And why we call it Christ consciousness, I don't really know. Maybe somebody else has more information on that term. But that is what are you feeling? Because I know that you're super connected to that, and they did a supercharge on that with your.
Yeah.
With you.
I guess I don't like to get
too
much into the labeling of things, because I think it can limit that. But to me, the Christ consciousness is the most pure, loving vibration that we are. But I think there's so much fear, and there's so much judgment, and there's so many earthly frequencies that prevent that natural, organic frequency from being activated within us. But that is our natural state of being.
Right.
And the word itself, I work with Sananda a lot, and that's Christ, that's Jesus. I mean, there are so many names, and I think names can get people very confused. And
right.
But it's all just the most beautiful, loving, pure energy that we are. That is who we are. And that's what I'm feeling guided to say about that. But Lorie, people are asking, so why would and that was one of the things we were going to talk about. What are the benefits? Like, most of the people on this call are like, I am so getting this. We're getting a lot of people like, this feels good. I get it. And then another's like, what is the benefit of the call? Why would we want to do this?
Benefit of going into Telos, or just benefit of understanding all of this?
I guess they're asking all.
Benefit of all of it.
Any and all.
Well. And
I think most of us can feel it, but for those who aren't, what would you say?
Yeah. Okay. So for those that are kind of wondering, like, what's the point of this? I can feel into that sort of. Okay. Well, this is all grand and glorious because it's kind of like, maybe not as grounded and what people might consider like practical, like things you can kind of use in your everyday world, right? And you have to. So the purpose of this call, the purpose of journeying into Telos is the beginning in my mind. It is the
beginning of remembering.
There's the beginning of remembering, deeply remembering, and there's nothing wrong. There is nothing, you are not spiritually bypassing by understanding this. You're not spiritually bypassing by connecting to your star family. You have to understand this ascension is an integration, right? You have to be able to integrate everything that's coming in and coming up. So what that means is, just as much as you have to be in your body, doing the, breathing and moving through emotion and paying your bills and doing the job you don't like, raising the children that are difficult, right? Whatever is going on in your everyday life, right? That's happening, and you are still connected to your star family, whether you want to believe it or not, it's there. And so how do people begin to integrate both of these, right? And so I think there are definitely people that will listen on the call and say, well, this is just, it's too up, and it's too, how can this be practical for me? Well, the practicality of it is for you to be able to separate, for you to be not so attached to your life, right? So yes, you are living your life, you are grounded, you are in your body, and all of this is happening. And guess what? It's not you. So how can I begin to live in this reality that is deep down not my real reality, but it is my reality in terms of how I'm living, right? And I am connected to these amazing beings. I've lived these other lifetimes, and having that awareness, having that knowingness, beginning to kind of connect to that and ground it deep down into my physical body as I'm doing a job I can't stand. Welcome to ascension. That's the ascension. That's the challenge of the ascension. And that is why what the Lemurians are trying to get across to everybody is that it doesn't have to be such a challenge. I mean, this information that's coming in, it can be, we don't have to fight it. And God bless those who are fighting it, because it's hard. It's really hard. I mean, how do you integrate, I'm a star being and I hate my job and I have to go talk to my boss every day? I mean, that's challenging. That's not easy. It's not easy.
But awakening is a softening, though, Lorie. I mean, to me, awakening is a softening, because so often without this awakening and remembering, we're pushing our way through life, and we're making it far more challenging than it needs to be, because the heart hardens when we get into fear and doubt and all of these things. And the purpose to me for all of this is to soften. Because as we awaken, we soften the heart. We let down all of those guards. We stop blaming, judging, ridiculing, and we just let go a little bit and open the heart. And, that may sound, I don't know, airy-fairy or whatever, but it's so real. Because when you remember who you really are, and you're just experiencing this, but the totality of who you are is infinite and grand. And what happens is you don't get so caught up in the muck. You don't get so caught up in the density of what's going on here, because it's a choice, and I know that it doesn't feel like a choice when you're in it, but there's also a choice to soften and approach things in a softer way, and that can make a huge difference in the quality of our day-to-day lives. And to me, that's the purpose of the show, is to lighten up, so we all lighten up a little bit, so our lives aren't so hard, and so we begin to see the beauty and the magic of what is possible. So,
so true. And one more thing about softening, and that's probably a word that Adama uses. He probably says soften a bazillion times in one journey, right? I mean, and I've never used it as much as I use it in a journey, because it's so true. We are being taught to soften again.
He is here.
Oh, he's here, please.
Yes.
He is all over he's right there. But also really quickly before we move on, what a journey, one-on-one guided journey will do is it kind of turns back on these systems within your body. And this all kind of seems foo-foo in the head as I'm talking about. I'm thinking about the people that are like, well, how is this going to really impact my life? And it's like, well, it's kind of like, imagine you've been in this like dark cave for a while, and you're really trying to climb out of it, right? And you're trying to like get the dirt off and get the mud and the dust and everything that's kind of been on you, right? And you're just trying to look up at that light, like, come on, I know I can bring this in. I know I can feel this. I know this is out there. Well, going into Telos is kind of one of those, like, you literally take this this cord and you charge it into the wall, and things just start to come on. You start to kind of, and you don't know what's going on, and you don't need to understand it, but something shifts. There is a major shift that happens. For some of us, it's slow, and it's a slow process. For some of us, it's pretty quick. But that's really what it is. In a nutshell, it's on top of all the other things that you get, the messages. It's a connection. It's a turn on
and
the light
everyone's
bulb
going to get exactly what they're ready for.
Yep.
That's just, that's it. There's no better or worse or anything like that. And and remember, these journeys, we're highlighting Lorie's ability to be a guide, because this is a gift of hers and what she's here to do. This is something that you can do on your own. If you intend for a journey into Telos in your own meditations, you can certainly do that. There's, this is, we're bringing this to your awareness because that's what this show is about. It's about sharing information. Is it the only way? Absolutely not. You can do it on your own. And I'll tell you, sometimes it's just fun to do it with somebody.
Yeah, there's so many people that, there are a lot of people that have gone into Telos on their own, and just and as long as you intend and just trust, a lot of times we're taken in our sleep.
Yes.
And
we've all been there. A lot of us on this call many times, and you just don't consciously remember it probably.
Yeah. Yeah, so you definitely do not need to do a one-on-one guided journey to go in. The fun part about them is that it's very alive, and you're like, oh Lord, look at this.
And you don't have to do anything. Lorie just you lay back on your couch and chill out, and Lorie guides you, and you don't have to say a word. It's amazing. But that's just my personal feeling on that. But Lorie, we have so many people on the call and so many hands up. I want to say we've got a lot of questions on the webcast, and I'm certain that a lot of you with your hands up have very personal questions. What I would like to do, though, is if I call on you, let's make the question general enough to apply to everyone, so that if it's surrounding the topics that we're talking about without getting into personal one-on-one messages, because that's what the private sessions are for. That way we can really benefit everyone, So if you can really honor that and make your questions as general as possible, we would greatly appreciate it. And I think everyone else on the call would too, because we all have probably the same kind of questions that are general. Do you agree, Lorie?
Yeah, that's beautiful.
Okay.
Absolutely.
Okay, with that said, gosh, we have, just a gajillion hands up. Okay. And if you do not want me to call on you and you've had your hand up, you can take it down. Okay. But if you would like me to potentially call on you, keep your hand up. Okay. I'm going to, the first three numbers are 203. 203.
Oh, hello?
Hi. You are live with us.
Hi, my name is Anne. I'm not new to this whole concept, but I'm trying to educate myself. I guess there's so many people that are doing this. I guess my question in my head is, are they chosen by Telos? Are they chosen by Adama? Are they chosen by the council? Is there a stratification of who's doing this? With the Lemurians? Who transmits this knowledge and who takes people on journeys, or any comments on that?
Well, hello, Anne. Thank you. So so you're asking how are these people that are working with the Lemurians and working with Adama, how are they chosen?
Yes. Because there's you, there's Brigitte, there's there's quite a few people that work with the Lemurians.
It was our choice when we came down. So when we decided to come down and be here at this time, we specifically chose to do this work. It's very specific work, right? So it's very, very specific on what we're doing, and it was the choice that we made prior to coming down in this last lifetime. When I was waking up into what I'm here to do, it was very obvious. They gave me the information right away. It wasn't foggy or any of that. So for those of us that are doing this specific work and any work really, it was your choice. It's what you decided and what you wanted to do when you came down here. Does that make sense?
Yes, yes. Thank you very much.
Okay. Thank you, Anne. Appreciate you calling in. Okay, yeah, and I think everybody who does any kind of this work, everybody's going to do it in a little bit of a unique way. Clearly, Lorie's way is a unique to her, and so one is not better than the other. You know, it's kind of like someone who, like a doctor or an attorney. There's many, and they all bring their own flavor to that role.
Right. The more the merrier, right?
Yes, absolutely. Okay. All right. I am going to, I'm like, eeny, meeny, miny, mo. Okay. Sorry. Okay. 250. I can't. 250. You are with us, I hope.
Hello?
Hi, who is this?
Marianne.
Hi, Marianne. How are you?
I'm good. I was just listening, and my question is, I would like to clear any blocks that I have to being totally real and whole and living my purpose for why I'm here.
Oh, beloved, I can feel there's some there's a lot of sadness, there's a lot of grief that needs to be kind of let go and released around you. You know, just I don't know if you're aware of Mother Mary, but she has been holding you through this sort of awakening that's happening with you. So she's with you right now. She's very, very prominent as you're moving through this, and what's happening is it's becoming stronger and stronger. So these emotions that have been held within you for quite some time, very long time, you've been holding on to these, and they're very strong. There's almost a fear of releasing them. And so Mother Mary is with you, really ready for you to release them to her. And that you don't need to be afraid of releasing them. There's almost a fear of if I release these, I will feel even more. And so there needs to be an understanding right now and a softening really of, by releasing these, they will not it will not be intensify. You don't have to go through it to release it. So with Mother Mary coming in, with Mother Mary being right by your side really strongly, and she's been with you for a very long time in this lifetime, what she's asking of you right now is for you to sit with her, right? Even right now, if you can close your eyes, if you can feel her, she's right in front of you on your right-hand side. If you can just feel her energy, feel and trust what you're feeling. So for many of us, there are certain masters that will come in just for moments like this throughout our life, and they'll be here until we receive it, until we accept what they're here to do for us. And that's a hard thing to do as well, accept that they're here to honor us and serve us. And so when you begin to tap into that, okay, so Mother Mary is here for you, whether you understand that or really see that or feel that. And so softening into what it is you know deep down you're here to release for the last time that doesn't serve you, that's holding you back, okay? If you can begin to kind of hand it over to her and let your ego out of the way. Like, what does that look like? What if it doesn't work? How am I supposed to do that? If you just soften into the moment and imagine her in front of you with her beautiful hands out, wanting to take this from you, and you deeply, deeply, deeply are ready to let it go, and you hand it to her. And so whatever these are that are deeply within you, this deep sorrow, this sadness that's in you. If you imagine it, you can imagine it as a color or a name or a person or an experience, but you literally imagine it, Marianne, coming out of you, and you hand it to Mother Mary, and you let yourself just experience this moment with her. It will go. It will release. And it could take, it could take some time. It could take a couple of these experiences with her. But I suggest you start feeling into her. I suggest you start trusting that you will not, by releasing it, you don't have to go through it. You don't have to move through the pain. You don't have to move through the sorrow. And so you are safe to release it to her. And there's no process that needs to happen. There's no step-by-step. It's just your own journey with her right now.
It's a surrendering of the grief.
Will happen.
The layers. Yeah. Marianne, how does that feel, what she's sharing?
True. I knew Mary's been with me. And I guess that was a fear of going through having to process it and all, and being sick and tired of doing that.
You don't need to, Marianne. You don't need to. You need to trust. You need to deeply trust, first of all, that you're worthy of not having that anymore. You're worthy of not carrying that around anymore. You don't need to. So you have to understand and feel into that first. And then you literally need to use Mother Mary as your release. And it's that simple.
You're worthy of being process-free.
Yes.
Process-free.
You're worthy of being process-free. Can we make T-shirts that say that and sell them?
I know. When you claim that, Marianne, like you can be a process-free individual, you'll surrender some of these layers of grief, like layer by layer. And just because you claim it, you say so. And you say, Mother Mary, take it. And then every moment that you do that, you'll lighten up, in every way. And I truly, truly hope that this happens for you, because you deserve to feel lighter,
Yeah.
Yes. I agree.
I think I heard a little laugh there, Marianne.
A little. I heard it.
Yeah.
I think. Maybe?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, Marianne, thank you for calling, and sending you lots of love. And
so much love to you.
Okay. All right. And I know a lot of people feel that way, and I am so about just championing the no process.
Yes. It doesn't have to be a struggle anymore.
We can simplify this. Yes.
Really quickly, we're not used to that. We're not used to that. We're not used to it being effortless and literally instantaneous. And that's what can happen.
Yes, exactly.
It can happen. Believe it. It can happen.
You have to claim that kind of living for yourself. I've learned over the years, you have to set an intention for the way that you want to live your life. And if you think it is going to be hard, it will be very hard. If you say it's going to be easy, I'm going to lighten up. This does not have to be hard. I'm going to simplify this. I am blame-free, process-free, all of that. You can be. And it doesn't have to take a long time. It can be pretty instantaneous. And Lemurians are here to remind us of that today, is what I'm hearing.
Yeah.
And what you share all the time.
And to use these beings that are around, it's like Mother Mary was so prominent. It was like, boom. It's like, okay, start using them, throw that crap over. Let them freaking have it. That's why they're here for us right now.
Yes.
Give it to them. There's so much fear that we have to go through it, and that's what's holding it. That's what's keeping it attached to us.
We don't have to experience the pain to let go of it, or live back through it, because trauma that is stored within us, even this trauma of sinking with Lemuria, a lot of people on this call have had it. You don't have to re-experience it. You don't have to re-experience it. You know what you can re-experience if you want to is the absolute confidence that you had when you said, I'm going to do this. I can do this. If you want to re-experience something, re-experience that, because that's awesome.
Right. Right.
Okay, I'm actually going to go to a web call here, and it is
cool.
From Portland, Oregon.
Oh my God, can you hear me?
I can hear you.
Oh my God. Hey, Cari, it's Don Diana.
Hi. Oh, I must have felt you. I was like, I'm going to go to a web call. I don't go to them very often because sometimes they're not clear. Hi.
Oh my God, you totally did. And you know what? I just turned on this call, and I love this guest. And I have to say, when she mentioned Mother Mary, I just burst into tears. It was like, oh my God, she's so with me as well. So
she's been with me lately too. I think, she's all over. She's helping us right now.
Totally. And I hadn't really thought about her as being part of my team, but it's like, oh my God, it's like she was just so brought to me. And I wanted to ask you guys. So I'm in this incredible state of transition. I'm going through intense Kundalini awakening to the point where I feel the energy is moving in my body all over, the currents 24/7. I mean, 24/7. I'm feeling them intensely right now. And it's been the most tumultuous part of my journey ever. I actually moved from Northern California to Portland, Oregon in February of this year. And I realized about a month and a half in that I was not meant to be here and did not want to be here. So it's kind of miraculous how Spirit has brought me a miracle, because I was completely resigned. I was absolutely going to move back to Northern California. I was going to do whatever I needed to do, rent or whatever. But as it turned out, Spirit brought me my dream house.
Oh.
So, and Spirit brought it really fast, So I'm moving back in early September, but the thing that I just want to address here is I'm feeling really, really stretched financially, and it's freaking me out. So I keep, I'm moving in faith. I'm really listening clearly, but I just wanted some commentary on that, because it's been something to kind of, deal with here.
Lorie, what is it?
Thank you so much for being here.
Yeah, I wanted to say, Lorie, what did Lemurian say about that? Or what are you feeling about that?
Well, there's two things that are happening. When Mother Mary is around us a lot, it is she's here to take from us. So she literally is like the mother, right? Give me your pain, give me your suffering, give me whatever it is. There is a deep, deep belief system within you of worthiness, okay, of not feeling worthy. And that's where this financial thing is coming from. And this is going to seem kind of like, well, I don't understand. How is that connected? And the only thing I can ask you to do is to settle into it and to understand that what they're asking you to do. So what's happening as this Kundalini awakening is happening, right? As you're bringing in more light, as you are becoming more of who you really are, you are being asked to completely surrender, okay? Completely surrender, which you have been doing so beautifully.
Yes,
but there is a level of surrendering that happens with finances that is beyond our comprehension. It's very, 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 very challenging to surrender to the financial need to control. We have to surrender to our financial abundance is probably one of the most difficult things that we are being asked to do as we awaken. You have to understand also that it's a beautiful sign that you are really starting to become your light body. The more you are, and this seems very, and maybe this is just a message for you, I'm not exactly sure, maybe there's others out here that need to hear it, but the more that we are kind of stripped of our comfortable finances, right? The more we are asked to surrender, the more abundance is going to come. It's almost like they're saying to you, do you really trust who you are? Do you really trust what's going to be coming to you? Are you really in faith? Do you really believe this Kundalini awakening that's happening, right? It's all connected. You're not awakening so that you can still control your finances, okay? You're not awakening so that you can still kind of, hold on to that fear of not being worthy. You're awakening so that you can become the direct conduit of this abundance that you are allowed to have, it is your God-given right to have this abundance. This is very challenging for many of us to accept, very challenging for many of us to take in. And that's okay. Wherever we're at is beautiful. But you are on a very fast trajectory, and you're being asked to surrender. You're being asked to look at your worthiness. Yeah. You need to really, really hand over to Mother Mary right now this fear of not being worthy of having it all. This fear of complete surrender. Know that you're completely taken care of and that you are going to have all the abundance that is going to be coming to you. You don't need to know how that's going to happen. It's almost like we have to completely let it all kind of fall, and then it all comes.
Surrender with an open heart. With an open heart, not a fearful heart. Yeah. That's huge.
And it's an indication, Dawn, of where you're at in your awakening, that this is happening. So understand that as well, that the more we are pushed, the more we are asked to surrender, the more we are bringing in this light, the more we are holding this light in our bodies, the more we are becoming who we've always been. In a state of presence. Yeah. So you're starting to live more in the now.
My solar plexus is burning right now. It's like, I totally get it. I totally feel it. It scares the crap out of me. But I don't know if we can do the 4-letter word thing here, but I just,
Yes, you can. You can.
Thank you. I guess I just did. Thank you. Yes, I completely resonate with that. When I heard your voice, I just feel, just the resonance of truth coming through you so strongly, and I really appreciate what you're telling me, and it resonates with the deepest part of myself as well, and it's so freaking scary. But you're right. It's just a surrender. It totally is. I get it. And, there's this fear, will I be okay? Will I lose everything? Will I be living on the street? all those kind of old collective consciousness thought forms that, I'm sure are releasing for the collective here, but it's not fun. It's not pleasant,
So Dawn, I would ask you then.
It's Dawn Diana. Actually, it's actually a double name.
Oh, what is it? Dawn Diana.
Dawn Diana.
Yeah.
Oh, Dawn Diana. Oh, I love that.
Thank
That's
you.
So beautiful. Okay, Dawn Diana, when you are in that fear, when you're in those, oh my God, I'm going to live on the streets, those irrational belief systems that we love to attach to, ask yourself, would I be having this Kundalini awakening? Would all of this stuff be happening right now if I'm supposed to be living on the streets? The answer is no. For every single person listening right now, the answer is no. This is not happening. You are not awakening. You are not going through this so that you can be in lack, in limitation, in suffering. Do you have to go through whatever it is that's in your life right now in this moment? Yeah, you got to go through it, but you are not going to be in a place. As long as you surrender and keep moving forward, as long as you trust and keep moving forward, you will not be living on the streets, unable to pay your bills, and eating out of a garbage can. But you have to be able to trust that. You have to be able to deeply, deeply, deeply trust that. And that is really freaking hard.
But you can do it.
And you're doing it.
You can do it.
I can do it.
And you're doing it.
Hearing these words is really important, and I just want to give you another element of this whole picture that I know you know already, but I kind of want to voice it, which is that the entire experience has been energetic. It's like the way things work these days. It's like magic. Is there any pain in getting a mortgage and having this thing completely miraculously unfold in 7 days? I mean, there wasn't any. There really wasn't. It was so easy. And yet the thought forms persist, and I know these are being released, and I'm definitely, thank you, going to work, going to play with Mother Mary and work with this, directly. Thank you.
Wonderful. Thank you.
You're
I'm so glad
welcome,
that
love. Thank
I
you.
felt you, Dawn Diana, and I wish you just more magic, more surrender, more surrendering of all of that, so you can just experience the flow that's right there. So
but I am
more abundance.
The flow is so present already. I think that's the point I want to make. It's completely obvious that it's all flow, that it's all magic, that it's all spirit, and I'm not doing it. I mean, I'm in this beautiful process, and it's the thoughts, the ideas, the consensus reality notions of how money works and doesn't work and so forth that is being released. So I definitely feel that, and this has been incredibly clarifying and supportive.
Beautiful.
So I thank you so much.
You're welcome.
Thank
Lots
you.
of love to you, Dawn Diana.
Love to you. Many
Okay.
blessings.
Bye.
Thank you. Bye.
Yeah, it feels like, so often, so many of us, myself included, over the years, whenever those things happen, I always know I'm not in my heart, because my heart doesn't worry about those things. It stays in the flow. And so I always have to drop back in, put my hands on my heart, and it kind of, it alleviates a lot of the mental anxiety that we can put ourselves through without realizing that, it's a matter of dropping into the heart. And I know that sounds simplistic, but it really does help. So,
and man, that's a doozy one for us, the finances,
completely
financial
for
security.
Everybody. There were a lot of questions on the webcast about that too, so I'm glad we addressed it to some degree, because that's a big one. But it's so much about surrendering. Oh my gosh, it's like. And the more you surrender and trust, and I know you've heard that a million times, all of you have heard it a million times, but I promise you when you do it, on the other side of that is like this flow of abundance. Like, oh my God, I didn't know it could be that awesome.
It's so true. But,
and
I
know they've all
heard it. How do you teach someone surrender? Right.
Yes, it's a practice. Are you open to another one, Lorie? Okay, let's see. I'm going to first three numbers are 951. 951.
Hi, it's Michelle.
Hi, Michelle.
Okay, I have a question. I read somewhere that in Telos that they eat food that's not really cooked but kind of warmed and plant-based, and I'm wondering how it is best for all of us to eat, myself in particular. I find that I spend a lot of emotional and mental energy to choose the right food to eat and battle within myself about sugar or will I eat something raw? And I'm just wondering what the beings have to say.
Oh, well, first of all, Michelle, you put a lot of pressure on yourself with this. So many of us do. This pressure of what's the best thing for me to eat? How do I bring in the best nutrients so that I can hold this light or be in this frequency or transition? It's like, what's best for me? And you know what the Lemurians say? So the Lemurians they do hydroponics. So they make their own food and they don't eat meat products or any of that. But they also understand, and it's like anything with how they view our world right now. You can't do it wrong. And so whatever your body is craving, literally, I mean, of course we want to be as, conscious of what we're putting into our bodies. But there also is a piece of don't worry about it, that everything is still happening, everything is still shifting within you, and that it is okay if we crave a pizza and we go and eat it. In fact, it's better to do that than to shame ourselves or to not allow ourselves to have what it is that our beautiful bodies are asking for. And that you are doing it just exactly what you're doing, exactly what you feel called to eat is what you should be eating, whatever that is. So just like anything else in our world, right, Take the pressure off. There is no right or wrong way of doing it. There is no right and there is no wrong way. Now, the beings, when we were fifth dimensional beings living on Lemuria and on Atlantis, we didn't kill animals, okay? That just wasn't in our consciousness. So there wasn't an opportunity to eat animals, right? And so we don't live in that world right now, right? We live in a third dimensional existence where unfortunately that does happen. Now, whether you're called to eat an animal or not is part of your body telling you what it needs. But for you in particular, take the pressure off. For you in particular, allow yourself whatever it is. You almost need to soften into it's all going to be okay. You need to soften into allowing yourself whatever it is, and that it's not going to harm you, that you're not going to destroy what you've been doing and clearing, creating this beautiful container within your physical vessel, that it's all happening, whether you eat something really bad for you or not. And so the more you're able to really kind of just soften into, I'm doing it all okay, right? And not be so hard on yourself about it, it's going to happen. It's like if you look down the road in a year from now, you eating those 3 pizzas and those 7 hot dogs, is that really going to impact where you're going to be a year from now? No, not at all. If you continue to eat in that way, will it? I don't know, maybe. I mean, your body isn't going to want it. You're not gonna crave that all the time. So be okay. Be okay with where you are. Be okay with what you're craving. Be okay if every once in a while you're like, damn, I really want that pizza. I really want that cheese. I really want whatever it is. Take the pressure off. You're doing it. You're creating this beautiful vessel within you right now. And so it's less about really being hard on ourselves and keeping ourselves on this rigid path, and more about loving ourselves.
Yeah.
Love
when we let go of the
you.
rigidity and we get more introduce more softness and less rigidity. I know for me that's worked wonders. Michelle, was this helpful?
And Michelle,
go ahead, Lorie. Did you have more, Lorie?
Well, I was just the only other thing I really wanted to say was that your body is shifting, right? So your DNA and your cellular structure is shifting. So it's happening, and the better we can kind of bring in the nutrients that we need, the better off our bodies will be. However, it's also very much okay to eat crap when you want to eat crap. It's not going to stop your process. It's not going to stop you from becoming who you already are. So take that pressure off.
It's the guilt and the blame and the shame that can set us back for if we hold on to those feelings for an extended period of time. It just prevents us from opening our heart, basically, and having more fun on the journey. But Michelle, thank you so much, because I'm sure other people had that question too. So blessings to you.
It's such a good question.
Yeah, it was. Thank you, Michelle. Okay. I like that we're getting all kinds of questions.
I know. Okay. They're so good.
Let's see. I am going to, okay, 269.
Hello?
Yes, hi.
Oh my God.
Oh my God, it's you.
It is. Oh my God, it's you.
Who is this? You? Who are you?
Well, I was just thinking I should just put my hand down now, because everything is just so beautiful. It's just, oh my gosh. This is
What's your name?
Okay, my name is Melissa.
Hi, Melissa.
Hi. This is like the most wonderful call. I have I don't know if I'm doing a quick detox or something, but all of a sudden I didn't feel well, like before the call, and I started to doze off, and then I kind of almost choked, and I thought, what's going on? so much, and the call was so healing for me because I've just been, my whole life here has been exactly what you're talking about. I mean, even when I was a child, I just thought everything just looked foreign, and I couldn't understand why people aren't just loving each other, and I all of this going on, and I had this one, and I just so much that you talked about was so beautiful. I mean, having dreams of these dreaming of living in a place where there's, and it would just happen over and over, where there were all these giant crystals and the beautiful forests and animals I've never seen that were just so glowing and beautiful and places. And now I feel like from this call, I kind of feel like I'm in this place of euphoria.
Yeah, I can feel it in you. Like everything you're describing, it's like you're radiating it right now.
Yeah, that's what it feels like. It's beautiful. And there were just so many awakenings. And I thought one thing that came because I remember, oh my gosh, I don't know, maybe 30 years ago, and this woman I had this reading, and she said, oh my gosh, you're like surrounded by this ocean, and it's like an ocean of tears. I have no idea what this is. I don't have a clue, but maybe someday on the call I realized what it was, and it was it's Lemuria, and it was the whole drowning process and staying there, and wanting to hold that love no matter what and just take it, because I thought I've experienced and witnessed so much pain and suffering, but I've never, ever, ever, I have never lost my vision of this beautiful expression of love right here on this earth plane, right here. I mean, I've held it since I was little, and it's like, I just thought, oh my gosh, this is all just making so much sense. And remember long ago having like another reading where a person that was, his name was Michael, and he said, I'm an acquaintance of yours from Lemuria. And so I just, popping up for me personally, but I realize, I think one of the biggest things I think is so wonderful everyone heard was when you started talking about Mother Mary, and it was very freeing for me too, because on this healing journey I've done so many, it's like every day, all these processes and letting go and all this work, and I just think that was one of the most beautiful messages that you brought through for everyone, is that it doesn't have to be that way anymore. At least say thank you, because the freedom in the lightness of being able to know that you're worthy enough to just turn it over.
Let it go. Let it go.
You're here to support us, and all of it is so beauty. It's everywhere.
I like that word. I like that word, Melissa.
Beauty. Melissa, I just have to say that your whole heart has just expanded. It's like it's like it kind of lit. It's like something happened on the call where literally it was like you just kind of opened up this part of your heart. And you have, by the way, there is very little that's kind of on you or connected or stuck on you still. So you're very open. You're very you're ready to start just sharing this. Spreading it. The reason your throat was choking up is because it's time for you to speak this. It's time for you to share this. It's time for you to begin to, you are holding this deeply into your heart, and you have for so long, because this is what you're here to share. You're here to activate that in others. So the throat was being activated. The throat was softening. The throat was saying, okay, I'm ready to start speaking this. Just your energy is so pure. It's so joy. It's like, welcome to your mission. Welcome, because this is what you're here to do.
This joyful, yes.
Yeah.
Open-hearted.
Just sharing this, being in this. It's beautiful.
Yeah, it really is. Yeah. You have a gift of you can activate people with the frequency that you're bringing forth. And I love what you said, Lorie, about her throat, because that's exactly what I was sensing too. So, yeah, go share it, Melissa.
shred it, girl.
All right. I'm ready.
Oh, you're so cute.
Yeah. So
beautiful.
Melissa, stay in touch with me, okay? I want to hear about how you're doing, because I feel and sense that you've got a lot to share, and I'm so proud of you for not, after all the struggles you've been through, and we have all been through, you didn't lose this remembrance of who you are, and take that spark and just let it amplify and just share it. Just share it. You've got a gift.
This is why you're here. Yeah. This is why you're here. This is why you're here. This is what they're saying right now to you. This is why you're here. This is why you held on to it so tightly. You knew you held it so tightly for this moment, for this time, for this right now. So there is nothing you need to do but just be who you are and to let that out and let people feel that, and that will activate other people's remembrance. So it's your time. It's time.
Oh,
yes.
Wow.
It's time.
Oh, it just brought tears, incredible tears.
I could feel that. Well, just sending you lots of love, Melissa. I know that beautiful things are going to unfold for you.
Oh my gosh, this is the most incredible message I've ever received. Thank you. I feel it. That spark igniting. I saw it. I could feel it. And it's just like I said, the tears are tears of love and tears of joy. Just like, they're just like, yeah.
And just keep asking the Lemurians or whoever you feel connected to, Mother Mary or whomever, to just continue to keep your heart open and activate this opening and this igniting of who you are. Okay?
Yeah.
Okay.
And one more thing, Melissa. You've got a legion of angels all around you. I mean, it's like they're packed. You are not alone. You have got an army of angels behind you. So you are
legions of light.
You're carried.
Yeah.
Yeah. Beautiful.
Bless you. Bless
Thank
them.
you.
Bless everyone. Bless me. Bless all.
All right, Melissa.
So beautiful.
Yes. Blessings to you, Melissa. Keep in touch, okay?
Oh, I will. Oh, I love you guys. I love everyone on the call. This is so wonderful. It's like we're all in a different dimension today. It's just so beautiful.
It is. Okay, Melissa. Love you. Bye. Okay.
Bye.
You know what I was thinking, Lorie? That was so amazing, first of all. As I'm sitting here looking out the window, you know me, and I love waterfalls, and I love, in Lemuria and Atlanta, I mean, the waterfalls, I mean, I've always carried that with me. And so, in my house and I have running water, it's such a reminder of the flow that we can be in. When you see water flowing, it reminds you to soften and be in the flow. And as I'm looking outside during this call, it's just reminding me of that Lemurian energy. I'm just watching the water flow, and it's like we can be that water, and we can flow, and we can soften, and we can experience that whenever we choose. And it doesn't have to be hard anymore. And there's so much support on this call, by the way. And anybody who's listening, ask for the divine support that was with us on this call to be with you, to stay with you, because there's some support here, right, Lorie?
They are taking advantage of this. It's like they've got us right now, so they're just taking advantage of it.
Yes.
I mean, they're just all around us. They're just hoping that everybody feels
showering love to open our hearts. That's what it's all about. And when you open your heart, guess what? You can feel joy, which is your natural state of being.
Yeah.
The more you allow yourself to open your heart, you can feel joy, and you can laugh, and you can sing, and you can play, and you can dance, and you can enjoy the flow of life a little bit more every day. And that's what this is
Yep.
about.
Yeah.
We have tons
And
of
staying
hands
grounded
still.
in it all,
Oh
you
my gosh.
know?
Oh, yes. That's
Yeah.
important. Didn't we learn that yesterday? My goodness. We I mean, grounded enough. I mean, you know, we've got to stay grounded, but we still want to be light and grounded.
Yeah. Yeah. It's so beautiful.
Oh,
I love
okay.
it.
I think I'm going to take another call. Is that okay with you?
Okay. Yeah.
All right. Let me see.
Let's
I'll take
go.
one more. Okay. I'm going to 239. 239.
Hello, this is Susan.
Hi, Susan. Welcome to the call.
Hi, Susan.
Hi, thank you so much for this beautiful call.
You're welcome. I'm glad
Thank you
you're
for being here.
Yeah.
Yeah, thank you. You know, as I hear all the questions and the feedback from you, one of the things that I think will be a generic issue for many that keeps on coming for me is that I know in my head these are the things that we need to focus on, and yet I'm always asking for more guidance, or so that I can hear guidance. And I don't know if I'm blocking all the abundance and prosperity that is ours because I'm basing it on I need more guidance so that I know I'm doing the right thing, if it's that I'm not trusting enough. So I guess my question is, how do we keep ourselves in that zone if we're not hearing or feeling guidance as directly as we would like? Guidance from our divine team.
So that's a beautiful question. And so I want to ask you to do something because you're in your head. You can't hear guidance in your head, right? And you can't try to figure it out in your head. And we are all in our heads all the time. And so what's happening is we're being asked to come into our bodies, into our hearts. And so what I want you to do is to close your eyes for a moment because they're all around you. So you're going to I want you to start to kind of experience what it feels like to hear guidance. You don't actually hear it, you feel it first. So I want you to close your eyes. I want you to feel your belly rising and falling. So just settle in. Don't think. And if you're thinking, that's great, but come in. Just listen to my voice. Listen to my words. Okay, just feel your belly. It's going to rise and fall with your breath. You're going to settle in. You're going to feel yourself sitting or standing, whatever you're doing. You're going to quietly quiet the mind up a little. And then I want you to bring an awareness to the energy that's around you right now. You're going to try to think about it, and I want you to feel it. So you're just going to soften your breath. You're going to slow your breathing down. You're just going to quiet. And then I want you to just feel. And you're going to start to think, and that's great. Just come back to your body, come back to your belly, and come back to feeling that energy that's around your shoulders. And that's your guidance. This is how you begin to become aware of guidance, right? So it's not just outside of you necessarily. It's also inside. It's in your belly. It's in your breath. It's in this settledness. It's quieting the mind. And for many of us, it takes a while. And this is a little bit uncomfortable. But this is how you begin to hear. And this is how you can begin to feel. So guidance starts with feeling. And I know you can feel them around you because I can see them all around you. And what they're asking you to do is, of course, soften. So they're asking you to release your shoulders, so kind of let the shoulders go. And they're asking you to soften into your heart. And they're asking you to trust. And they're asking you to feel. And they're letting you know you're safe. So there is a feeling of not necessarily being safe in coming into the body and settling in. So they're letting you know that you're safe in doing this. And that they've always been here. And that they will continue to support you and be here until you're ready to really start to open to them. And this is for all of us, right? There's this need to really soften, need to quiet, need to come in to the body and start opening up to that and start exploring that and feeling into what's around you.
Definitely. I think that was really helpful for everybody because that is a challenge for us all. But we can rest assured that when we're in those spaces and places that we are in our heads, and if we can slow down long enough, as you so beautifully guided, Susan, that's the first step. That's where we can start to hear guidance and trust and all of those things. Susan, how did that feel to you?
It felt calming. And I often have, and I'm sure others do as well, so I see numbers, master numbers all the time. But once again, that's a head thing, right? To interpret them or to think that that's a message. And I have ringing in my ears throughout the day, or at just different times. And I had ringing in my ears. And other than that, I don't feel anything. So so when you said I could feel them around my shoulders, I didn't feel anything. So I think that's also part of what
the practice.
Yeah. So I would suggest, Susan, to start practicing just coming in. So just practicing. You don't have to close your eyes and meditate, right? If that's not your thing, don't do that. But even when you're watching TV, okay, even when you're driving your car, when you're doing the dishes, just start to bring awareness to your body. So just start to come in. This is difficult for us. This is what it means to embody. And Susan, you're like millions of people out there, right? Starting to come in and embody our physical vessel is really, really hard for a lot of us. And it's a practice. And so what you are being asked, the reason you asked this question is because your higher self is ready to start to come in. Okay? And so she wants to start to come in. And so this is why this is happening for you right now. So what this means is it's time to come into I always like to use the belly because it feels really big. It's like, okay, I can feel my breath in there. I can bring my awareness to that. But just take these baby steps and really kind of coming back in. There's really good reason for us not to want to come in. It makes perfect sense. It's painful sometimes, but it's time. You're ready. You are ready. That's why you asked this question. Your higher self is ready. It's like, come on now, Susan, it's time. Let's connect. Let's go. Let's do this.
Yeah.
So come in. Sit.
And another way to do that is through nature. I have found to really connect with feeling is being outside in nature, because you'll start to feel things and then that will become more familiar, and then it's just worked for me over the years, because it's gone hand in hand with the heart opening. So something about being out there. I mean, well, of course, there's the fairies and the nature devas and everything that start kind of, and the trees and the sun and the breeze. You start to feel, and you stop thinking, and it, like I said, it's a practice, but then it becomes more familiar and a lot more fun too. So, Yes.
Yeah.
Oh, and Susan, about the
I agree.
numbers.
Yes.
What I've learned about that over the years is because I used to try to like, what does it mean? What does it mean? What does it mean? Oh my gosh, let me look it up. What I have come to find is that
you do understand me.
I totally get it. But what I have come to learn from my guides is that it is simply a reminder of like, yes, you're on track. Yes, it's an affirmation of alignment. It's an affirmation of that. So when you know that, you don't have to go out of your heart and into your head and like, oh my God, I've been like, oh my God, what does that mean? Oh, maybe it doesn't mean that. Maybe, oh, is that 222 or 22 or 32 or, oh no, you know. Like, so that helped me out over the years. So,
thank you so much.
Yeah.
I hope this helped others as well. Thank you so much.
You're welcome, Susan.
Thanks, Susan. I hope so too.
Thank you.
Thank
That
you.
was fun. Yeah, so many, all these questions, we've all been there. We've all experienced every
my
single
God,
thing
yes,
that we've
we have.
discussed.
They've all been so beautiful. They've covered the gamut of our human existence.
I know, right?
Experience.
In 2 hours, we covered it all.
It's beautiful.
You know, Lorie, it's so funny.
Holy cow!
I know the time. When I said let's take one more call, I didn't even realize like it was like an hour and 50 minutes in. I was like, wow, we might want to start wrapping this up. But at least we stayed
People
on.
have to get back to their life.
Right.
At least we were
stayed
connected.
On. Yes, we stayed connected, and my crystals are here, and we didn't get blasted out. Yes, this was awesome and amazing. And I want to tell people, I know we've been talking about it throughout the call, but if you feel guided to connect with Lorie, do it. The guided personal tour into Telos with her it can be a real life transforming experience, and it'll be in your replay email later, and if you're on the webcast you can click on the link there, but it's an experience that if you feel drawn, I can only say, like, encourage you to say yes and trust that your guidance is leading you in that direction for a reason, just like it did to this call. And if this call was enough, that's amazing too. And you can also try all these things on your own, right, Lorie?
Yep.
Anything and everything. So, Lorie, you are awesome. You are amazing. I love you. I thank you for I just love you personally. I could just sit around and laugh with you all day, but I thank you for bringing all of this to this community because it's so needed. It's so helpful, and you're incredible. So thank you.
Thank you, my love. I'm so I'm grateful for this community. I'm grateful for the listeners. I'm grateful for this time, and I'm grateful for all these beings that were with us today. Oh my goodness, they just shot us up with some serious love right into our veins. It was so beautiful. We got a shot of love. It was awesome.
We did. We were blasted in the most beautiful, gentle, soft ways.
Yes.
Soft blast. Continuous.
They were
awesome. Continuous. So thank you to all of the divine support that came in with us today. Wow. That was amazing. So, Lorie, I'm going to have you back, and I hope that the right people who, right isn't the right word, but it's the people who are intended to experience this with you personally will do so, and may it be as magical of an adventure as it was for me. I'm still reeling from it. It was an incredible experience, so I hope that other people are gifted with that as well. So. Lorie, have an amazing day. Everybody who's joined us, thank you for being with us for so long on a weekend, my first daytime weekend call. But I'll tell you, we were just about full on this call. So we were, I may have to try these calls more often on the weekend, Lorie.
Right.
Okay, guys, I'm going to wrap this up. Thank you for being with us, guys. I'm so grateful for all of you. I'm sending waves and waves of love and light and appreciation and gratitude directly from my heart. into yours in this moment. May you feel it, receive it, offer it to everyone you encounter today or tonight, wherever you are in the world. Remember, between now and our next show, give yourself full permission to shine instead of shrink, express instead of suppress, and own that amazing glow of yours. Have a beautiful day or evening wherever you are. Look forward to connecting with you on our Facebook group and again in this playground of light again next time. Bye, everybody. See you next time.